The last day today was Valdisir's final day on the estate. Dawn broke quietly over the fields he had tended for most of his life. The land looked beautiful. Golden rows of corn, heavy grapevines bending under their own weight, the barn standing firm against the morning mist. Valdisir stood for a long moment, taking it all in. Every furrow, every fence post, every stone carried his sweat. For more than 20 years, he had given this place everything he had. He arrived before sunrise, left after sunset, and worked through storms, droughts, and sickness. He never complained, he never asked for more. Loyalty was his pride, and now it was over. He packed his few belongings slowly. His hands were rough, scarred by decades of honest labor. His heart felt even heavier. No farewell, no explanation, no compensation. Just the quiet understanding that his work was no longer needed. At home, reality was merciless. The cooking pots were empty. The pantry shelves echoed with emptiness. There was no flour, no rice, no oil. His children had eaten the last scraps the night before. There was no money hidden away, no safety net, no plan for tomorrow. And yet his boss lived in a vast mansion with polished floors and wide balconies. He drove a new truck, owned tractors, harvesters, and the most modern machinery. Everything Valdisir had helped build now shone in someone else's name. Bitterness settled deep in his chest. An ungrateful man, Valdisir whispered to himself. He has no heart. After everything I gave him, this is how it ends? Anger twisted into something darker. He'll see what awaits him. But while Valdisir's thoughts burned with resentment, a very different conversation was happening elsewhere. Inside the mansion, the boss sat with his wife, reviewing the estate accounts. He's worked here more than 20 years, the boss said quietly. Faithful, humble, tireless. He took care of the land like it was his own. His wife nodded. He worked for your father, too. All those years. Never dishonest, never lazy. The harvest this year is exceptional, the boss continued. That corn and those grapes are worth a fortune. He deserves more than words. They sat in silence for a moment. Then the boss said, let's give him the land. The fields he's cared for all these years. And the barn down below, make it his. His wife's eyes softened. That's only fair. And more, he added. What if we leave him some money? $100,000. Enough to start fresh. Enough to sleep without worry. She smiled warmly. That will change his life. I'll go to the bank now, the boss said. I'll leave the money in the barn office. I'll tell him later today. I want to see his face when he realizes what's coming. They had no idea. Valdisir never heard those words. Consumed by humiliation and pain, he convinced himself he had been betrayed. Every silent year, every overlooked sacrifice now felt like proof that kindness had been foolish. I may leave, he thought, but I won't leave quietly. His anger needed an outlet. Before walking away, he deliberately destroyed 50 hectares of corn, plants he himself had planted, watered, and protected. Each stalk falling felt like justice in his mind. Then he moved to the vineyard, cutting and crushing the grapes, the juice staining the ground like spilled blood. Still, the rage wasn't enough. He walked toward the old barn. That man will never forget me, Valdisir swore. He will feel the loss the way I do. Inside the barn was the office. On the desk lay documents, deeds, and a locked drawer, untouched, unseen. Valdisir never opened it. He struck a match. The fire spread quickly, climbing the wooden beams, roaring into the rafters. Flames devoured everything. The barn, the papers, the land deed, the money meant to secure his future. By the time the fire lit the night sky, nothing remained but ashes. Valdisir walked away believing he had taken revenge. In truth, he had burned the greatest gift of his life, call to action. Before acting in anger, pause. Not every silence is betrayal. Not every delay is rejection. Sometimes, what feels like injustice is simply a blessing arriving quietly. Choose patience over rage, reflection over reaction. Because one impulsive moment can destroy what years of hard work were meant to give you.